what they say, folks. Gobble me, swallow me, and drip down the side of me. I am your host, Lori, and this is an episode of Stop Being Hateful. And with me in the studio, I have my macaroni in a pot.
Stir it up.
Stir it up.
Producer Adam McAvoy.
Yeah, and this is, as I said, Stop Being Hateful. This is take 2 of our pod.
Episode 12, season 8 recap.
Our final season 8 recap. Our microphone wasn't recording for the first few minutes, but we are back and we've finished our technical difficulties.
Got over them.
Yep, and we're here to talk to you guys with our final thoughts about season 8. It's finally happened, folks. We have 1 season left on Hulu of Real Housewives of New Jersey.
And then we are caught up.
And then we are done. Well, we have to watch season 10, but
this quarantine journey.
Once we figure out how to pirate that, we'll get on it.
You mean pay for it?
Pay for it with my cable subscription. Wink, wink.
Absolutely. Which I sent Lori a picture earlier. I've been trying to be more active on our social media. Follow us at Stop Being Hateful on Instagram.
It's a Stop Being Hateful pod on Instagram.
Stop Being Hateful pod on Instagram. And there was a picture of Dolores from the new season, and she does not.
Well, she got a facelift.
She doesn't. She has more face now. Like I don't like they like added
she
more
got
face.
Fillers.
Yeah. She doesn't look like Dolores anymore.
Yeah, she looks like something much more sinister. Also, I think it's sketchy anybody that gets plastic surgery in the quarantine.
That's an odd.
Like,
thing,
do you really need that?
Ooh, it's gonna be weird to see next 3 months how they been filming stuff filmed in the quarantine.
I know that they've gone to restaurants. I've seen on social media the restaurants that they've been filming in. They've gone on a boat, I believe, to somewhere.
Do you think the talking heads are gonna all have masks?
Well, I know in Orange County, the Real Housewives of Orange County, that season that's gonna come out this in October or something, that's gonna be pretty much exclusively about COVID because that was the time that they were filming was which how do you feel about that? It'd be funny
to see some hot takes. It'd be funny to see them break certain COVID restrictions.
Whatever Kelly Dodd has to say, her and her boyfriend, while she continues to deny that it's real. But what do you think about that in terms of
I'm just excited for Real Housewives of Utah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Adam's real amped for Salt Lake City.
Mormons are cool. And by cool, I mean interesting, I guess. But I just think it's going to be a really, I just don't understand what is going to be...
It's going to be a full season.
What's going to be the drama in Salt Lake City. I don't know what's the drama.
Married her grandma's ex-husband, her late grandmother's husband.
It's... I feel like...
To inherit, a family business, I believe.
They have, such an odd, subculture of, old homesteading America. I'm really interested in it for whatever reason.
Katie Maloney's hometown and Lala Kent's home state. I don't know if Lala's from Salt Lake City, but I know Katie is.
But other than that, season 8 was just wild.
Season 8 was...
I'm still processing what we saw.
It was everything and nothing all at the same time because they kept going over the same fucking drama.
Every time Marge would have a one-on-one with someone, they'd be like, I see your point.
And I
believe you. I forgive you. And then they'd get back together with the whole group and it would just be the same drama rehashed.
Marge.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. So when they go to the retreat, the relationship retreat for Siggy and Danielle's role also I find incredibly odd this season. It's Camille Grammer-esque with in this season now with her wedding and everything, where it's she literally is the one giving all the drama, all the tea, all the hot takes, and yet she doesn't have the luxury of being a housewife. It's I never got why they do that.
Yeah.
Just make them a full housewife if they're gonna be basically a producer.
Maybe just a liability of how crazy that person is.
Yeah, and I imagine difficulty to work with, you know what I mean. Not that I think Camille Meyer.
Well, Danielle Staub definitely she committed health code violations, so she's
oh yeah, she did have sex in that restaurant. That's
and
insane.
The Gorga pizza,
in the Gorga
pizza
family
pasta.
Pizzeria and pasta shop. That's so gross. I thought that was gross before COVID, and now with COVID, I'm why would you ever have sex with somebody in a bathroom?
It is an odd choice.
What if somebody
a bathroom is a dirty place.
Bathrooms are dirty.
Your own bathroom is one thing. Public bathroom of a Gorga pizzeria.
Who knows what goes on there?
Well, I mean, I bet you.
Melissa, it's weird to me that
Joe tried to.
Too.
Joe probably tried to christen it with Melissa.
She's like, Joe, no.
No, Joe, put Tarzan. Put Tarzan away.
So fucking weird that they call it Tarzan. I can never get over that. the men have names for their penises. That's so odd. Or when women have names for their boobs. Like Charlie from Vanderpump Rules calls her boobs Tia and Tamara. Like after sister.
That's terrible. Yeah, I don't like that either. That's kind of weird. I don't
like it. It's like, it's just your private part. Like, just, you don't need to name it. Like, you can deal with it privately, like everybody else does. But I always worry in a bathroom that, like, even when I go to the bathroom at work, I'm always worried that, like, even though it says the door is locked, and there's a little sign, like, you know, the door handles that say, like, vacant or occupied.
Someone's just gonna come and force it open.
Yeah, like, somebody's gonna, like, open it. Like,
I need to go!
Yeah, and, like, that's my fear, like, when I'm just simply peeing. Like, I can't imagine how... I mean, but I guess people like the stress.
Of fucking in a bathroom.
Like, the unknown. Like, yeah, for me, that would just give me anxiety. Like, why would you put yourself in a place where it's, like, you at any moment...
The danger.
Yeah, it's, like, I've never gotten that. Like, I like, being safe and secure is a real turn-on for me. Not, like, at any moment danger could happen and we both could be, you know, convicted as sex offenders because we had sex in a public bathroom. That doesn't turn me on. But Danielle, with the retreat, was like, oh, when Siggy and Marge, quote-unquote, made up, was like, do you think she was just doing that because if people see her making up, it'll look good for her brand? And everybody's like, no, we think she's really made up. It's like, no, she definitely was just doing it for show.
But at the same time, it's like, that was such an easy read. Like, I felt like the same thing. Teresa and Marge were joking around at the beginning, like, of the retreat, like, oh my god, she's just gonna keep calling you out. And then she did. She just kept calling out Marge.
She loves a call out.
It's really, and it's like, especially at, like, an event where, like, you're in charge. Like, she did the sit to Melissa at her house.
Which
and, like,
was so fucked up. I would have left really immediately.
That was really fucked.
Actually, that's a lie. I would have made you come with me and you would have beaten her up.
I'm surprised she didn't do something more, or, like, she didn't tell Joe or something.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
I mean, I think she did tell Joe, but Joe was like...
Didn't understand the full extent.
Yeah, it's women do that, though, where, like, they love to humiliate other women, like, especially when they know they have the upper hand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially when it's also, like... I'm not that Melissa's young, but she's like younger than the rest of these women. Like, they're all in their 50s.
Yeah.
Like early 50s, and she's just like a 30, like late 30s. And,
yeah, I would not want to go to that party either. Like,
you know, her children are like a decade younger and all that stuff.
Yeah. If I had been invited to that party, it would have been a no-go for me.
Honestly. I mean, she only went because everyone else was supposed to.
Event.
And Dolores didn't back her up at all. Like, that was like a time when Dolores just stood there and did nothing.
Yeah, I don't get this thing that Dolores is on where she's like, if I have an issue with Siggy, I'll talk to Siggy about it in private. It's like, okay, but calling her out is also like, it shows...
you're sticking up for your friends. Like,
yeah, like, it's just Dolores is annoying this season.
Yeah, it's really not something that's like, oh, you know, you're a bad person because you don't agree with your friend all the time. You're just sticking up for what's
right, which is like this other friend.
Which is what you're supposed to do as a police officer, but
she's not a cop anymore, so. But I do think she's smart though. A lot of the vocabulary words that she uses, I think I'm like, oh, I would never use that.
All I know
or maybe she tries to seem smart.
All I know is that when she said that about when Andy Cohen asked her in the reunion, like, could you find fault with anything Siggy does? And she said what you said. She was like, no, like, and if I did, I'd go and tell Siggy and not everyone. It's like, okay,
but that's, like, not loyalty. Like, that's just you, like, having your head stuck up our ass. And if you don't want people to say that, then don't do it.
And, you know, speaking of the reunion, they've rehashed every argument, you know, every insult, and Siggy could not get off her high horse for any of them.
And I know we're not supposed to talk about politics on the podcast, but it is, the way she talks is very, like, Donald Trump-esque, where she's like, no, don't care, don't want to hear it, don't care. Like, at one point, Margaret's trying to talk,
and she's just talking over her and saying, like, scum, or, like, what'd she say? She said something weird like that, like,
I did think, it was funny that she's obviously no longer a housewife, but I do think it's really funny that she did report Margaret to PETA.
That's crazy, yeah, because her husband's a hunter. They had a stuffed black bear in their foyer. Yeah. And freaking Siggy went up to it, took a picture, and posted it on Twitter.
It like Elmer Fudd.
Oh my god, yeah, she's just screaming.
I was thinking about that at work the other day. I was
taking
the trash.
There's that, and then there's also, like, they brought up the whole anti-Semitic comment.
Oh, yeah, so,
that was a big point of contention for the whole season.
Yeah, so to give the listeners some backstory, and as to, you know, if you're not familiar with this or if you've simply forgotten, so, they're about to go to the Posh fashion show, Posh standing for piece of shit, coke whore, homewrecker, every day. I think I got that mixed up, but you know the point, America. So they're talking about Kim D, and how Siggy and Dolores are walking in the fashion show for the 2 young men that were murdered in Kim D's car as a fundraiser. Yeah. And so everybody's like, that's fucked up that you're even doing that. Like, how could you do that to us? And Margaret goes, Siggy, Hitler wouldn't have killed me. Does that make him a good person?
Just in context of saying, just because Kim D has been good to you doesn't mean she's a good person. It doesn't mean she's been good to other people.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like stick up for yourself and your friends.
Yeah. Excuse us, Kennedy would like to weigh in.
Producer Kennedy.
Analogy. Which is like it's an off-colored analogy, but that's the point she was trying to make. She wasn't trying to say to Siggy, you would have died in the Holocaust.
No.
Like, I think Siggy's aware of that.
And from then on, Siggy had this... She kept on saying, like, Hitler's name should never be mentioned in a conversation that doesn't have to do with the Holocaust.
And it's like, okay, I mean,
that's one thing, but at the same time, she told her father... She had a conversation with her father, who's a 93-year-old Holocaust survivor, and he said... Even with Siggy not, like, doing this, what she always does and not giving someone all the information, just, like, very cursory information... He said, like, oh, I wouldn't go as far as calling her anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
wouldn't,
know
like,
her
fuck
heart.
with her, but...
Yeah, he said, don't go to any events with her, but he said, you don't know her heart. You can't call her anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
A Holocaust, like, her father said that to her.
Andy Cohen said he didn't think it was anti-Semitic, which,
and she said, I don't know what he what's in her heart, but... You know, it's not okay for someone to say that. She just kept on saying that during the reunion, and even Andy Cohen had to say...
It's like, I called my mom and dad.
I called my mom and dad, and they talked to their rabbi.
They didn't think it was anti-Semitic.
And thousands of people weighed in across the country.
They were like, this isn't anti-Semitic.
It's not what it was.
And I think it's like, I honestly don't think, truthfully, it's that big of a deal, because it's like, in the context of reality television, you know, it's like, it's not like I feel like calling somebody in a workplace anti-Semitic is a huge deal and would probably be a much bigger issue,
especially
for that person's career. But I don't think I think Margaret's feelings were hurt, and she was kind of taking it to another level with some of the things she was saying. I was like, I don't really know that it would end your career. Like,
no, she's right, babe. That's a big thing.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm not saying that
it's very hurtful to her too, because
her ex-husband is Jewish, her children were Jewish.
She raised Jewish children.
Her son was probably born into Judaism. Just it's cultural.
He has a son that's with her
ex-husband.
With her ex-husband, exactly.
Yeah. So
the producer Kennedy is weighing in. She does not like Siggy very much.
Ew, she loves to lick.
Very licky dog.
For the audience, she really does love to walk and to lick. But yeah, I found it baffling to me, like, the whole drama with, like, Siggy was just like, I'm so happy she's not back this season. I also, like, truly did not care about her son.
I don't know.
Or
about
her
that.
son's journey.
I think her biggest other, like, obstacle was her, like, hormone replacement this season, and just the fact that she was like, yes, I'm unstable, I need this hormone replacement, but at the same time, like, not admitting to being unstable in any other aspect of, you know, how she's conducting herself.
Yeah, like the way she danced, like, behind Margaret when she left the Gorga restaurant. It's just like, that's just so fucking, like, I don't think menopause makes you do that.
No.
And if it does, then I'm about to be institutionalized during menopause. Because I'm already unstable. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like she definitely was, like, the main pot stirrer, and I feel like she did get fired from being a housewife. There's simply no way that she didn't, with the way she was acting.
She couldn't have. Like, she couldn't stay on calling other cast members anti-Semitic.
Reporting them to P. And I guess on Twitter she was being very... She was
doing some crazy stuff
disastrous.
on Twitter, yeah. But, and you know, usually Danielle Staub is the biggest pot stirrer, and she did stir the pot a lot with Dolores. You know,
I think, sorry.
She kept on insinuating, you know, she's cheating on her boyfriend with Frankie, which... Then she is Frank is her son. She does have, like, an odd living situation with him, and that's even more accentuated in season 9.
Already, we're already so hot about the situation with Frank and Dolores.
But you know, Dolores went so far to say that Danielle's on drugs. Or is, like, on, you know what I mean, like, on pills or, like...
assassinating things.
And it's just...
she even says herself she has no reason, like, she has no reason to believe that.
She just said it to say... Like, she just said it to almost, like, be like, well, like, to discount everything that Danielle Staub says, which, I mean, Danielle Staub says a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But
I did like when Teresa apologized to her child. I thought that was really sweet to watch, like, as a viewer. It was like, oh, it's nice to see Teresa taking accountability and, like...
And, like, that almost goes, like, okay, maybe this is a real friendship. Maybe this is her, like, actually, you know, her and Danielle actually connecting, and they obviously are at a different stage in their life, because Teresa wouldn't have done that 10 years ago.
No. Yeah, and I like Teresa. The more and more I watch the show, the more and more I'm like, oh, Teresa Giudice is, like, a redeemable person to me. Like, I can kind of understand why she has friends and why people would want to be around her.
She seems like... arc.
Yeah, she seems like a lot of fun to be around, and, like very endearing.
Who would you rather hang out with? Alright, so let's kind of move into we watched episode 1 of season 9.
Melissa's birthday.
And who would you rather hang out with? Melissa or Teresa?
Well, Melissa and I have the same birthday, March 21st, if you're wondering.
Very fun.
So I feel like when we get drunk, we're very similar. I definitely felt like when she was like, "What's going on over there?" Like,
and you starts yelling at the guys.
Yeah,
who had,
I definitely
the
feel like
drinking.
that is something I've done while, like, playing beer pong. To, like, start screaming.
Mm-hmm. You're a very fun drinker.
I'm a very fun drunk. I've never resonated as, like, an angry drunk. I don't really get that journey for anybody, but
it's not fun to hang out with.
Yeah, not to discount, like, you know, the angry drunk. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that get angry. But, yeah, I think I'd probably want to hang out with Teresa more. Because I feel
Teresa,
like...
I don't know, but Teresa in this beginning of the season, she's working as a bodybuilder, so she can eat, she can drink.
Whoa.
Drink?
She can't
No,
even...
I didn't even hit it. She can't eat, she can't drink.
Can't eat.
So I don't know, you know, like, how fun she'd be, at least in this season, because she's not, like, partying. And she hasn't been partying, like, ever since she came out of jail. She's not really a big party person.
Yeah, but I like the way she orders food.
Yeah. Unless she goes on a retreat like Boca, then she kind of lets loose, you know.
I have to say, my favorite thing about the reunion is when Teresa went, yeah, and then I found out the base wasn't cake, so I got mad and I threw it.
Like, that's the funniest. Like, that's, like, such a drunk thing, too. Like,
because the way she, like, hawks it, you can tell, like,
how
I really
did
think she was throwing it, like, at Melissa.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess she just, like, was like, this
I'm
is
just gonna throw it.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
that was so funny. Like,
it was pretty great.
Yeah, it truly is, like, such a drunk thought. Like, being like...
And I think it's also hilarious how, you know, season 7 ended with Siggy doing the most annoying things, and, like, it just starts crying and says, like, can we all have a group hug, and makes all these girls hug each other.
Yeah.
And who was the girl that Siggy really didn't
Robin.
No, but who's she arguing with in the rest? Who was, like, the girl that left to season 7? Did anyone leave season 7?
No.
I don't remember, but
Jacqueline left in season 7.
Jacqueline left in season 7.
Yeah.
She made Jacqueline and Teresa and everyone have a group hug and just kept on crying and crying and crying.
Which, like, how did nobody pop this bitch? Like, if you want, I'm not a hugger. Don't get me to hug you. I'm not going to hug you.
It was about Teresa and Jacqueline hugging. It's not
I know.
But this season ended with a new cake, a new posh Melissa birthday cake being wheeled out. And
Envy by Melissa G.
And it was better. It looked better than Siggy's cake.
It did. It looked a lot better. I just feel like cakes are so, like, hit or miss for me.
That's such a weird present, though, to be like, I got you a pastry chef to make you a cake. It's like, make me a cake. I don't know.
It's
like
unless
just weird.
It's like truly a delicious cake. And, like,
it probably was, but it's just a little weird.
I don't feel like it is. I feel like that type of cake is never as good as you'd want it to be. I feel like it looked like it had whipped cream frosting, which I hate.
Can you tell me who are these two new housewives in season 9?
Vaguely. One of them is named Jennifer Aiden, and she is Turkish. Her husband is a plastic surgeon. He's very attractive and he gets along pretty well with the house husbands. Jennifer, I know, she loves having money.
And this is the Turkish girl?
Yeah, she wears a lot. The girl who had the arranged marriage set up for her. She loves money. She loves, like, being very wealthy. Her brother's gay. They have a very conservative Turkish family. She recently got a tummy tuck, but I think done by her husband, and she looks great now. She wears a lot of Chanel. She's also an Aries, if that means anything to you, which I know it doesn't, but...
Yes.
So that's her, and then we have Jackie Goldschneider, who is... she actually has a really touching story arc that's, like, she's suffered with bulimia for years, like, she's 2 sets of twins. I believe she got in vitro. I believe she had some fertility issues, and her and Teresa butt heads. And her and Jennifer butt heads in a later season as well, because she seems to be very, like, down to... She has a lot of money. I believe like family money, and also I believe they're landlords. I could be wrong though.
Mm-hmm.
I know that she definitely does rent out her house, I think in the Jersey Shore. So like they're like very like I think financially savvy. And I know Jennifer doesn't really like some of the ways that she like uses her money. Like I think there was a huge fight in season 10 when Jackie had a birthday party for one of her sons. I guess both of them. I think they're twins. But it was just like pizza and like ice cream. And Jackie was like, and Jennifer was like, oh, if I had all that money, like I would have a nice party. And like you serve pizza, and Jackie was like, well, that's what my kids wanted.
It's like, yeah, it's like what? That's
like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not gonna serve fucking tuna tartare at a kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge fight.
It's ridiculous.
In season 10.
That seems like one of those things where it's like, well, you just like, you're not coming. Like, this is a kid's birthday party. You're not coming for the food. You're coming to have make a kid have a fun, memorable night. It's not.
Yeah, I definitely walked away from that fight being like, oh, I definitely like Jackie a lot more than I like Jennifer.
That's weird. That's like one of the things that's like it's almost like you go on the show expecting it to be like real, because Real Housewives of New Jersey is a little bit different, Lori's telling me, than the other Real Housewives shows.
It's solely about Teresa.
It's about Teresa, and well, it's also about more family than it is like these women just hanging out, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the other Housewife franchises are like, these are friends, you know, like these are like fun social events that go dark, or like, you know, like the nuances of social interaction. This show's kind of always been about like family and like
dynamics.
Really like
Melissa and Joe and Teresa,
and
or like
Dolores
the Manzos
and
Jacqueline
and the Manzos and yeah,
you know, Teresa and her sister
Teresa and what the fuck was her name?
Teresa and Nicole.
You
know, in long-time friendships and stuff like that, and so it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how that plays out, because we just don't know these new women.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen season 10, so I'm pretty familiar with a lot of their antics, and I've seen episodes of season 9 here and there.
Oh, that's what I was saying. So it's like the women coming in to like the show, it's like you see the other housewives and you think, oh, we're going to be going to like these fashion events and XYZ, and then you show up like all dressed up fancy, expecting something nice, or expecting like a fancy dinner, and it's like a party clown, balloons, and pizza.
Yeah.
And I just like, what is this shit? I got dressed up. Like, I had a makeup artist come to my house. And
yeah, and I definitely think Jennifer, like, being from Turkey, it's like she does have like a different way about her.
Yeah, and she's like high class. Like, she's like an upper class
I would say she's a very like high class person.
I mean, like, her family was gonna have her marriage arranged. Like,
I think she's stunning. I think she's one of the prettier housewives. Like, just like facially, like, I think she's so gorgeous. She looks really good now that she's got a tummy tuck too.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, is, I guess, one of the benefits of being married to a plastic surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I think it's a little unethical to perform surgery on your spouse.
I think that'd be, like, scary, like, nerve-wracking, wouldn't it? Like, if something goes wrong, you'd be responsible.
I mean, I guess, but I'm pretty sure you'd probably be confident enough in your ability.
Oh, I mean, absolutely, but who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, there's always room for error.
Complication, anything with anesthesia.
Yeah.
We're gonna be calling this episode a little bit short.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give our host and, you know, the main driving factor, the big rig, the big wheel, you know, the person steering the ship, Lori Fogg over here. I wanted to give her a little prop. She started making signs at work.
Yeah, I no longer work at a Dairy Queen. For the list, I feel good that I can finally say that I did used to work at a Dairy Queen. It was a dark point in my life, but it's finally over.
Hey, I worked there too. Don't say it's a dark.
Now I work in a grocery store.
But you're a sign maker, and Lori's been making some very nice signs. And
it's been pretty fun. I made a few signs. I enjoy myself quite a bit.
I'm jealous from my stowing station at
a factory warehouse.
A
very popular factory warehouse.
The Death Star. I work at the Death Star.
Adam works for Ozymandias.
I work for Darth Vader, and the Emperor.
So I want to watch Watchmen again.
That was a good show. Watch the HBO's Watchmen series.
That was a really good show.
And read the comic book.
Yeah, I still haven't done that.
You don't need to.
The movie's good too, but not as good as the TV show.
The movie's got giant blue dong, so if you can
it's got a giant blue penis. Although the Dr. Manhattan in the movie is not as hot as the Dr. Manhattan in the show.
I mean, the Dr. Manhattan. Okay, but let me just say, the Dr. Manhattan in the movie is way buffer.
He is way more
He's
built.
way buffer.
He's way more built.
And it's such a sad story. The guy who plays him was like this. He was a bodybuilder, and I think he had like a stroke and died like at age 24 or something.
Zoinks.
Yeah, real
well,
sad.
on that note.
But he was just like they just got like they're like, who's Dr. Manhattan? And it's like in the comic book. He's just a physical specimen, so they just got this giant dude.
A unit.
He's got an absolute unit.
He sounds like Edward Norton to me.
He has like a really soft
In the
voice.
movie, he's got a very soft voice.
But
you know, thank you for listening. We appreciate any any
likes,
ears,
shares,
anybody really that could
spread
share
the word.
us or and if you want to, follow us on Instagram, like we said, it's at Stop Being Hateful Pod on Instagram.
Message us,
send us your conspiracy theories about the Housewives, whether or not you think Brandy and Nene slept together. Anything.
like my photoshops. Give me ideas. I'll Photoshop any housewife
Adam
meme.
will Photoshop anything and everything. He really has no shame when it comes to this stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, James Kennedy, play us out.